Hey everybody, welcome to this new video Tech Express. I'm going to be showing you how we can get started with some taxes into Shopify. I mean, this is like really annoying and maybe nobody wants to do this, but at the end of the day, you should do this. Legal issues and all that, so you don't want to mess around with all that stuff. And to get started is actually really easy. What you want to do is to go into the configuration here. And what I wanted to do is to hit into taxes and duties. Now here into taxes and duties, we can start here by adding some taxes depending on the country you're currently living. In my case, since we are into Mexico City, what I wanted to do is to import and compare a few plans about the importation of the taxes and all that. So I can include taxes and the prices. I can charge to taxes for the shipping rates, and I can charge some taxes to some digital products of the actual value aggregated. So I'm gonna hit now into save. And all of that should be added automatically. Of course, I can change digital goods VAT taxes if you wanted to. I can change the collection. For example, here, digital goods BTA text, or go for the page, the home page actually, and hit now into save. Now I'm going to try to load the page so I can see everything into English. Then later on, I can start by manage my sales channel tax collection. So if we haven't already done this, we need to create a shipping zone in the regions we are liable in. Then we can find the region in the list and select manage its tax settings. So it's really important, guys, to, if you're willing to get started here, if you haven't started to sell stuff into your actual Shopify, what I can totally suggest you is to start collecting some taxes into your main country. Then later on, you can go into some surrounding countries, and then you can go into the whole continent if you wanted to. But first of all, focus into your main country. This should be really easy. Now I'm gonna hit now into show all. In my case, it seems I'm going into Mexico City. I'm collecting a few taxes here. So I click that, and with all the country taxed, I'm gonna be making 16% of the taxes. So this is just like a base. We have a tax obligation in Mexico to pay the 16% of the country taxed. So this region is state taxed added to 16% federal tax. So if I needed to add, let's say, something else above this actual percentage of the taxes, let's say I can add this, let's say only 1% of that. If you're okay with it, I'm going to scroll a little bit down and I'm going to save this. Now, customizing region-based taxes for specific product collections or shipping rates when shipping to designated areas is to add it. Let's say, for example, if I wanted to make an override for a product and I cheat here my collection, let's go for Mexico, or let's go only for Yucatan. The tax rate is going to be changing 20%, and here I'm going to add the override. This is totally depending on the destination areas or the shipping rates and all that, but that's totally depending on your country. If you wanted to find out a little bit more about that, you wanted to open a new tab, and let's go for taxes for USA. I'm going to go for clothing and shipping costs. So this one should be heading into the US export taxes with H blogging. We have the file of US taxes in Mexico. We have the shipping rates here. Get the best shipping prices. So how much is US shipping taxes? Now, duty taxes rate are between 0 and 37%, with the typical rate being 5%. A flat rate applies to e-commerce purchases. So this is totally depending on the shipping rates and how much you wanted to get charged for it. But I believe that it's going to be really fast if you focused first of all into your actual country. So I'm going to close this element and I'm going to go into my store once again. Now that I saved this, I'm going to go back and I had just saved my first one, which is Mexico. Now, above that is the United States. If I wanted to collect a few taxes there, I wanted to select United States. And now I do have the managed tax liability. Now, based on our store data, we needed to start collecting taxes there. So we needed to register with the appropriate state tax authority in order to start collecting taxes in here. So I'm going to go into register with the appropriate state tax. And now we have US taxes. Now here, Shopify is going to be helping us to, let's say, get started with the referred tax liability. Now here is going to be asking to add the actual nexus. This one is a connection between the store and US state, so we can start to make some potentially tax liability from nexus, physical or economic. So I'm gonna scroll a little bit down. You can see that there's a lot of information in here. So for example, the following marketplaces might be taken into account when determining economic nexus. For example, Wish, Google, Facebook, Reverb, Etsy, Amazon if you already know it, Walmart, Best Buy, and eBay. So dropshipping, if you're making some dropshipping, it's going to be appearing all the information about Nexus. We needed to register for the taxes, and here's going to be appearing the tax rate reference table to provide contact information for the tax authorities. So for example, let's go and look out for Mexico. You think you can find it in here, but since we are into the United States, let's say for example that we wanted to focus it into just one a specific state. For example, let's go for, I don't know, maybe Chicago. So here I'm going to look out for Chicago. I believe that I cannot found it here, but let's go for something much more easier like New York, for example. And I have the sourcing, the local taxes. And now as you can see, with an individual price under $120, for example, 2 items with combined price for each exempt, but 1 item with individual price subject to sales taxed. So this is something that you must have in your mind when you wanted to add taxes in the price of the actual stuff, or add it before or after your shipping method. So I'm going to scroll a little bit down and check it out. We have all of the elements about North Dakota, about Ohio, about Oklahoma, Oregon Department Revenue. And if I open this, it's going to be popping out the tax services of that specific state. So there you have it, guys. It's a little bit complicated, but if you want it, but once again, I can totally suggest you to first focus into your actual country. Later on, if you are actually willing to get started to collect some taxes from a different country that is not yours, then later on, I believe that you needed to actually, let's say, we register for the sale tax we're collecting sales into, let's say, for example, United States. In this case, let's go for New York, for example. So I needed to go into the sale tax in New York, and I needed to make myself a first register in order to start collecting that. So we have learned more about tax liability into New York, and this one should be taking me into the Release Guidance Institute on Economics Nexus threshold and requirements for most seller. My requirements here are my threshold, the measurement date, includable transactions when we need to register once we exceed this threshold, and all of the elements that we needed to know to actually know. Now, for more information, please visit the department website for a new requirement. So I'm going to go into the actual government section so I can see the overview, and then later on I can start by creating and generating my own tax ID from the New York state. Really, really important. After we have done this successfully, I can go back into the US state of the Shopify. I choose my state and I go for my sales tax ID. This was one, of course, generated for and by the sales checks in order so I can legally start to sell stuff into the actual New York, and I can start collect sales channel tax into USA. So here I can add my tax ID, here to collect sales tax, and everything should be now successfully done. Once again, it's a little bit complicated if you want to start collecting taxes outside your actual country, but if you follow the steps that appears into the specific country, into the specific state, it won't take you like a lot. For example, in here I can create an account and I can start telling what is my shop about and whatever. All of those elements is going to be taking in no time. So with that being said, guys, hopefully this was a very useful information for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more tools about how you can get started here into Shopify. So thank you once again for watching the video, guys. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next video.